What is up? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks, presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad live choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, this piece of crap over here, which I realized it spelled his name wrong. Almanac. How did I spell it wrong?
You didn't
How
spell
do
my
you
name
spell your
right?
Twitter handle?
DFS underscore dude almanac ALMANAC. You put it DFS underscore almanac.
Almanac. Almanac. Dumb dumb.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
well. This is Joe.
I get a lot of respect
Go
around
sign up
here.
for Scores and Odds. Go sign up for Grant's Action Loan. Scoresandodds.com/Discord. Throw all my picks in there. Crushed it last night. Hit the alt lines on Anthony Davis 35 plus,
Nice
plus
enough.
500 if you didn't know. He was on a
Ooh.
fudge and tear. Probably would have done better had the game stayed closer for more of the game. But man,
Was
Davis
that
is
top of the
good.
ladder, 35?
No, I had it all the way up to 40, but I had barely any money on 40.
Yeah. They wouldn't let you get it down, I assume.
But I also had his over 0.3 rebounds assists, which he got like 60. Just
Yeah,
absolutely
he
crushed.
smashed last night. It's really interesting. The Lakers, man, they're a live team. It's especially the weird stuff that's going on in the West with with Phoenix, Durant, who knows when he comes back. I assume he's going to be fine, but we'll see. Stay tuned. Memphis, who knows the story with Ja, if or when he comes back, and if Adams comes back, Clark is done for the year. That's a team that certainly looked much better earlier in the season. It's just the Lake. I think the Lakers are like legit live. I mean, if they play Denver in the first round, like that's a really bad draw for Denver, right? Or even like the one or the two.
Yeah.
Like Sacramento might get knocked out depending on where we see. I guess theoretically the Lakers can still not make the playoffs. They're kind of on the fringe, but they seem pretty confident because they are resting Davis tonight. They're battling there with New Orleans. Well, I guess they got a game on New Orleans yesterday, but I know you have basically all the teams that matter to win the title. What do you have on? Yeah, go ahead.
My biggest position is, you know who it's on?
Is it the Lakers?
The Lakers.
Yeah. They're live. Yeah.
I got them at 100 to 1.
That's pretty good. What are they currently?
Yeah.
10, 15?
As low as 25 to 1.
25, okay.
Yeah, FanDuel has them at 49 to 1 for some reason, but everywhere else is 25 to 35 to 1.
That seems 49 to 1 seems pretty good. I think there's still some value in that, a little bit.
49 to 1, I'd say there's still value. Yeah.
Would you be shocked if they beat Denver, Memphis, or Sacramento in the first rounds? I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be surprised if they win it.
Oh, the whole thing.
Like legit, when LeBron comes back, they are one of the best teams in the league with their current.
Well, they finally figured out that let's surround LeBron with some shooters. Like it took them a while to get there. They made some good deals. I wouldn't make him the favorite, and I think Milwaukee is the kind of I don't want to say clear favorite, but I think they're the favorite right now. I think Vegas shows that, or Milwaukee and Boston, right? Presumably one of those two comes out, but it wouldn't be shocking if it's like I guess Philly or Cleveland, but probably Milwaukee or Boston. That's probably going to be the Eastern Conference Final, which should be amazing basketball. I don't know. I didn't mean to derail the show, but I just thought you mentioned the Lakers.
I always like talking about futures and all the money I'm going to make. Yeah, the West is wide open. Wide open.
It really is. Like if you were to Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, Phoenix, Golden State, Clippers, which would be the most shocking? Or Lakers that like go even Dallas, like theoretically Dallas has a chance, with Kyrie and Luka, assuming they're back. It's wide open. Cat's coming back in a couple weeks. I don't think that matters. Minnesota's going to be outgunned, but yeah, man, it should be a lot of fun and not like in years past. Those that like to live in the age of nostalgia, like there was like 4 teams, right? And it was like one of those 4 teams is going to make it, and that's that. And that's kind of not what this is. There's a bunch of teams that I would be surprised if Sacramento made it. I feel like they're more of a regular season team.
I mean, they've been surprising people all year. I'm about to put down a bet. I'm about to put down 1,000 to 1 bet, as Kevin Malone says. Anytime you get 1,000 to 1 on anything, you bet it.
I think it was a little higher than 1,001, but I understand the point. Yes.
I just put it on
The Kings doing something.
the Thunder to win
at
1,000 to 1.
I'm telling you, man, the Thunder, not this year, and whatever for funsies, you put them, but like they're going to be really good. SGA is still good, and like he's very good. He's getting better. Williams, the rookie, and again, I can't remember who tweeted this out the other day, and like when all said and done, wouldn't be shocked if he's the best rookie in this class, and that wouldn't shock me. I know Ben Carroll is going to win Rookie of the Year almost definitely, but Williams looks awesome. And shout out to Mike Gallagher. I heard Gallagher talking about him before the season started. I'm not somebody who watches college basketball. I heard him touting. I think it was with the summer league probably when he was looking really good. But he looks excellent. And I know there's two Williams guys. I'm talking about the smaller one.
Two Jalen Williams specifically.
Yes. Well, there's two Jalen's. But yes. I guess I don't mean Ken Rich Williams, who's another OKC Thunder, but he looks excellent. And like Giddey, Jalen Williams, SGA, Dort playing defense. If Holmgren's any good, if he's useful, they have a bunch of picks. OKC, man, it's a fun time. If you're out there, if you're a free agent looking to become a fan of a team, that seems like a fun team to latch onto right now. But
and if they can somehow find a stud that wants to go to, like a stud wing that wants to go, they could be good. Like if Harden wanted to go back to OKC.
The rumors are that Harden wants to go to Houston.
Oh, I know.
Houston's
already
out
one
there.
That like they get Harden. I mean, Jalen Green, KPJ, Jabari Smith, Şengün, potentially. What if Houston gets the first overall pick and gets whatever his name is?
Wembanyama.
Yeah. Then
that's the other thing.
We got today's bets to talk about, Dino. We
care about today's bets and today's bets only.
No, I care about future bets too, which are also part of today. So we covered that. Now let's cover today's bets. Let's start off with the Philly-Cleveland game. You know what I've got? One guy that's going to smash, who's been smashing, who could potentially be the MVP. Joel Embiid, over 45.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 108 at Caesars, over 31.5 points. I got it minus 105 at Betway, but no longer that there. You can still get minus 105 at MGM. He's been crushing this number. I think 5 out of the last 6 games.
Yeah.
No Jared
I was
Allen.
talking about this with somebody else, Grant. I don't remember if it was me or you. I don't recall. I can't remember who I was talking about, but it's really interesting. It's assumed that Jokic is going to get his third MVP. He's the heavy favorite right now. And Embiid is dying for the MVP. He's doing everything possible to get the MVP. And he's been smashed. His last month's stats were incredible. This month, he's been incredible for him. And, he would cherish that trophy. And Jokic is just going to, throw it in the corner if he gets it. He doesn't care. And he's probably going to get it. But Embiid is doing everything he possibly can. He is compiling incredible stats. Obviously, the matchup against Philadelphia, against Cleveland, not ideal. Both teams play slow. Both teams play good defensively. Cleveland, bottom 2, bottom 3 as far as pace. Bottom 2 as far as defensive matchup. It does make things a little bit easier that Jared Allen can't play. He's got that eye, so he is out. Donovan Mitchell, not surprisingly, back from his rest. Just an interesting note, Rubio is not on the injury report, which is this will be the first time, assuming that holds. I believe this will be the first time this season that Rubio plays on a back-to-back because coming back from that ACL. So it looks like he's going to be available tonight. So good for him. Cool to see him progressing. But, I like Embiid overs now because he wants to hit the over. How players say they don't care? He's trying to hit overs for you. He wants to compile.
He's got his buddies gambling on him, and he's like, yeah, tonight.
Yeah. Yes. He's definitely doing the best he can to compile. He's trying to win too, obviously. I'm not just trying to say he's a stat compiler. But yeah, for sure, he's doing everything he can to build up a resume. You think there's a chance, by the way, he sneaks in there and gets MVP?
I think there's a chance. The way he's been playing recently, there's a chance. Do I think he in any way, almost regardless, deserves to get it? No, I think Jokic deserves it, but I'm not the one voting. People are
even if you're grading on the curve of Jokic has had it, and again, I know it's not fair to do, but this is what's been done historically to guys like Jordan and LeBron. It's okay, it's boring, voter fatigue, whatever, right? If you're grading in that curve, you think it's. I mean, and I'm not here to say that Jokic isn't the MVP. That's not what I'm saying. But also worth noting that Denver's lost 4 in a row. So they're. I mean, look, if you want to poke some holes, they're still the 1 seed currently in the West. And what's wild is, I mean, I'm in before Denver loses to the Lakers in the first round, and Jokic won the MVP like a week before that. Twitter will lose his mind, of course, but yeah, they don't. That's not. It's a season-long award. It's not the playoff award. But yeah, just curious. I think it's.
Good thing
I think
the
there's
Lakers
a
are
chance.
getting the 6th seed.
Well, no, they would have to get the. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they could get the 8, but you're right. If
They could get the 7.
They could get the 7. I don't think they can get the 6. Well, yeah, I guess they could. Yeah, I mean,
2 games.
It's
they can
so
get the
jumbled.
4 seed still.
Yeah, maybe they'd have to go on a run, and LeBron's still not there, so they're 3
They've
wins
been
behind
on a
Phoenix.
run.
But they have to jump. They're 7 of their last 10. They have to jump Golden State, the Clippers, Minnesota, OKC, and Dallas. They're kind of technically they're tied with OKC and Dallas right now, but I haven't looked at like strength and schedule stuff. But it's super
3
jumbled.
games out of the 4 seed. They're 2 games out of the 5 seed.
Yes, which sounds easier than it is when you look at there's 5 teams in that mix. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's silly to say the Lakers are going to be the 7 or the 8. They can theoretically be the 6 and possibly the 5. But it looks pretty clear that Denver's the 1. They got 4 or 5 games on Memphis.
4 games on Memphis, 5 games on the Kings.
Yeah. So
back to today's bets, Daniel.
Yeah.
Miami, Memphis. I got plenty of bets here. First off, Bam Adebayo over 30.5 points, rebounds, assists, -117 at Caesars. He's been in rough form recently, but these are still like 3 below his season average. Tillman isn't really going to be able to stop him like Adams would have been able to. To me, that line's just a little bit too low. Tyler Hero over 29.5 points, rebounds, assists, -105. Betfred, a little bit too low. Tyus Jones under 24.5 points, rebounds, assists, -108. FanDuel came out the gates hot without Morant and kind of come back down there. A slow-paced matchup, tough defensive matchup, rolling with his under. But my favorite bet is on the best player in the league.
Do
you know who
Desmond
that
Bane?
is? Desmond Bane. Over 24.5 points. I went with the alt line at +145 at Betfred. Over or 30+ points, +400 at Betfred. His regular line of 22.5. Pretty solid still. Yeah.
Did you not bet threes for Bane?
Huh?
I assume you're not going to back that up by betting Desmond Bane threes?
I don't know if his threes actually go up much without Ja on the floor.
What I can tell you is that Miami gives up the 3rd most made threes to opponents per game, and that's, Houston's number 1, and they're like 1.6 more than everybody else. It's an egregious outlier. And then there's Chicago, Miami, and Orlando all exactly tied. So I guess Miami gives the 2nd most, tied for the 2nd most threes per game. So the way they yield points is via the 3 ball. So, and I think there's certainly there's a correlation to it. So if you think Bane's going to score those points, he's going to be making threes, right? It's just the way, I guess it's a way to back up that original bet that you already like.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but the odds aren't as great with him. I mean, without Morant, he hasn't been getting a ton of threes, like outside against Houston, which people get threes versus Houston. He's been doing more on the offensive. He's been taking more shots from not beyond the arc, because when Morant's in there, he'll just kind of sit on the side and just like wait for Morant to drive and then dish it out to him. Without Morant in the lineup, they need more scoring. He's the biggest beneficiary, or probably one of the biggest. Him, Brooks, Jackson are all pretty big beneficiaries. But in any case, I'm fine with that. I just prefer his points line, and the odds are better on his alt points. But yeah.
Gotcha. I was trying to see if I can pull it up really quickly on the fly with his 3-point. He makes more threes per game without Morant, and I guess we can pull it up, but I'll try.
0.05 per 36.
Up.
Very marginal.
That's attempt or made threes?
Made.
Oh, you said 0.05. I thought they said 0.5. My apologies. Yeah, 0.05 is, inconsequential.
Yeah. Yep. Moving on, next game, we got Sacramento versus Chicago. I have De'Aaron Fox under 6.5 assists. And then I took Zach LaVine over 28.5 points, minus 104, over or 35 plus points, plus 310, 40 plus points, plus 800. You mentioned before the show. Last time we played Sacramento, he had a 41 bomb, averaging 36, I want to say, this month, just absolutely crushing it. Been on a tear, getting up a ton of usage. Sacramento, great matchup. 1 point spread, should stay close. 236 total, I want to say. So just a great overall spot. Plus 800 on 40 plus is looking beautiful to me. And so is 35 plus at plus 310.
Yeah, I love those alts. You know, obviously you don't have to hit every single one of them. You don't have to hit like 30% or 40% depending on. If you hit that, 8-1 there with LaVine, he's been. I believe his usage has been jumping up of late, and we've seen DeRozan's fall back a little bit. Up in pace game, obviously facing Sacramento. But the Bulls' defense has been really good of late. Last 15 games, second best defense in the league defensive rating. The addition of Pat Bev probably didn't hurt. And just worth noting, Caruso, speaking of that defense, Caruso's questionable for Chicago, so that would hurt their defense a little bit. He'll be replaced with the likes of what DeSumo and Kobe White, and those guys are not nearly the defender that Caruso is.
Yeah. Hit it. Next up, Lakers, Houston. No Davis in the spot here. I don't have a ton of bets. I bet more unders on this game just because people, like, the lines are kind of inflated. Jalen Green under 2.5 3-pointers made, minus 108 at FanDuel. Troy Brown Jr. under 17.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 115 at Caesars. Jared Vanderbilt under 9.5 rebounds, minus 113 at Caesars. That line has moved 15 points, even though Daniel doesn't like it. I don't care.
I said that I think it's going to be worse. So Houston is, I think, the second best at suppressing total rebounds, which is kind of sort of somewhat surprising. Opponent total rebounds, but Şengün is questionable. If he doesn't go, I think that would hurt their rebounding rate a fair bit. So I don't want to say that's like the decider if I like Vanderbilt or not. It's for me. It's just kind of like a stay away. I don't know, man. It's tough. You got to imagine that there are more boards to go around with Davis off the court. And also, I think it matters who they start, right? Because if Şengün doesn't play, maybe Vanderbilt starts at the 5. If Şengün does play, maybe they start Gabriel. Maybe they play Wenyen Gabriel. Maybe right now we're currently projecting Rui Hachimura to start at the 5, kind of a small 5. And he might start as a small 5 if Şengün doesn't go. You're going to see a front line for Houston, at least we saw last game, Tari Eason and Jabari Smith. They did not start Garuba, which you've seen in previous games. I don't know how much Boban was dusted off, but I can't imagine he can run much these days. He's played a little bit here and there, but
He should have been playing 30 minutes a game. Best player in the league.
Played. He didn't even play at all last game. Okay, yeah, he did not play at all last game, despite the fact that without Şengün, he played 7 minutes, 11 minutes. Yeah, he can't really play more than like 10 minutes. Maybe they dust him off today a little bit if we see no Şengün again. Did you like any of the 3-point? So, like Beasley, he's all about his 3-point variance. I believe he's like 7 for 8 to start that game or to finish that game. He made a bunch of threes, and they put up like 75, 80 points in the first half. He just as easily can go 1 for 7, but we talk about Houston yielding a ton of threes, but I imagine the lines, I didn't get a chance to look at it, probably adjusted, right? It's probably a big number.
They're pretty high, 3.5 for both Russell and Beasley. I looked at it. I almost bet the under on Russell earlier. Like, it's way lower at Caesars than it is at most other places, minus 121, while it's all the way from minus 130 to minus 150 at other spots.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, I like the numbers is pretty high. The books are onto it, obviously. So.
Yep. Moving on. Next game, Boston, Minnesota. Not really a ton I love here. Mostly Jason Tatum over 29.5 points, 30 plus points over at DK. So DK had him at over 28.5, minus 140. His 30 plus line is plus 100 at DK. So you know how much money they let me get down on it?
$100.
$24.30.
If you want to tell
That's
yourself
why
a
I hit-
story on Jason Tatum, Boston's coming off an embarrassing loss last game versus Houston. You want to tell yourself a story? Jason Tatum came out after the game and said, "Look, that was on me. I wasn't as good as I should have been." He basically took the L. Jaylen Brown had an incredible game that game, for what it's worth. Remember correctly, he was awesome. Tatum wasn't horrendous, but like he owned it. He said, like, basically, I should have done more. I should have been better. So if you want to believe in a bounce back game, a narrative game, there you go. Take yourself some Tatum, and also the matchup against Minnesota, obviously perfectly fine. And I like the over as well. I like that. I like that play.
Yep. Nothing in Dallas, San Antonio. None of the lines were out when I was researching earlier. I'll have some bets in there later today. But last game, Golden State Clippers, got a few bets. Looney under 19.5 points, rebounds, assists. I don't know how much run he's going to get. He'll probably go.
Oh, you said
smaller.
under for Looney?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet this earlier today on Prize Picks because Kuminga's back, and Kuminga's going to eat some minutes. I think that's what you're getting at there. I feel like that's what you're talking about. He doesn't steal all his minutes, but Looney's going to fall back a little bit as far as minutes. And I saw in our projections it was a little bit lower too. So I like unders on Looney today as well.
Yep, and then under 8.5 rebounds on Zubac, minus 113 at Caesars, just a bit too high. And we have him projected for 7.8. And then I'm rolling with Curry overs. Curry over 39.5 points, rebounds, assists. Curry over 27.5 points. Both over at FanDuel. Lines might have moved a little bit. I don't know. I haven't checked. I guess I can check. Let's see.
ESPN game, if you care.
ESPN game. Curry's been good recently. Match versus Clippers, important game. Curry's going to be chucking.
By the way, our projections are showing they like this, and I like it too. Just to kind of fall back, and when the Spurs stuff comes out, I think Keldon Johnson is in for a big day. He was basically rested yesterday because they're playing out the string and whatever, and he's going to have basically all the usage he wants. Assuming that the minutes aren't like suppressive. 32 is our projection as far as minutes for him. The list of players out for the Spurs, and this is why there wasn't stuff out there earlier, obviously. Devin Vassell not playing in the back-to-back. Zach Collins not playing in the back-to-back. Jeremy Sohan, who had a big game yesterday, not playing in the back-to-back. Trey Jones expected to be back from his illness. Malachi Branham, we're not sure. He's questionable. Charles Bassey broke his leg yesterday, so he's done for the year. But and also the big, if you can get I really think that Sandro Mamu Kelishvili is really interesting too if they have some lines out there. And I'm curious to see where they put his lines because we're giving him 27 minutes. Who else we give him minutes to? Dang 5. Like he's got to start at the 5, right? I assume he's the starter at the 5. We're giving it to Keldon, Brandon, Mamu, KBD, and Trey Jones. Yeah, and then Graham off the bench. Yeah, I just think it's something worth monitoring. I don't know if the books are going to put out lines for him, right? Because he's such a fringe player, but he's also likely to be a starter, Sandro, tonight. But I think he's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't hate that, but we'll see what lines end up coming out. But that's it. Show. Anything else before we get on out of here?
I mean, again, I don't know what we have as far as the other side, but no Kyrie. Well, it's not official Kyrie's out, but he basically said himself he's not unlikely to play or it's not looking positive. I can't remember the quote. He wasn't optimistic about playing. Tim Hardaway is also questionable with his calf. Christian Wood is questionable with his foot. And Luka, of course, is out. That's, I want to say, the 4 highest usage players in that team. We've seen Jaden Hardy just, dive right into this opportunity. And the matchup against San Antonio is amazing. I would consider laddering Hardy up if you get the options. Like he can light San Antonio up for like 30 and 10, and it would not surprise me. I feel like we've seen this in previous games. Josh, all these guys. I like Hardy and I like Green. Hardaway got dinged the other day, so if he goes, I think he's interesting. But I'm more interested in Hardy and Josh Green doing a bunch of things against this horrific San Antonio team, because there's not much else. If you look at their usage stuff. That's who it has to be. I'm pulling it up right now. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I just said, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Kleber's going to be on the court. He's a 10% usage guy. Bullock's going to be on the court. 10% usage guy. Powell, 12%. Like, these guys don't shoot. Hardy's a 25% usage guy, and then it's going to go up even higher when Kyrie is off the court, Luka's off the court, Wood's off the court, and we'll see about Hardaway. But there's a huge opportunity for Jaden Hardy just to put up a monster score against San Antonio tonight, potentially.
Yeah.
There you
go. All right. That should do it. Thanks for joining me, Dean. Back again tomorrow. March Madness, I believe, starts tomorrow.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm told. Is it weird that it starts on the 16th after the Ides of March? Like, I think it's a misleading title because we're halfway done with the month and it hasn't even started.
Well, also, like, the first few rounds are where all the madness is happening, which is in March.
I feel like that you're being I think there's madness in round 4. There's no madness in round 4?
I mean, when does round 4? I think it's still in March.
It might be. Maybe it's the first next month, but Jalen McDaniels is unlikely to play with a hip, by the way. Just throwing that out there for you.
Schedule. First round is 14th, 15th, or that's the first 4. First round is the 16th, 17th. Second round is the 18th, 19th. Sweet 16 is 23rd, 24th. Elite 8 is 25th, 26th. It's the final 4 that's actually in April.
Okay. Yeah. I just think it's a little misleading. John Morant has left counseling program, moving closer to ramping up a return to play this season. All right, that's interesting.
I'm not surprised. Like, seems like mostly a PR thing, sending him to counseling. Like, the guy needs to make better choices, essentially. I don't know what's going on with him, but like I was never really
either. I don't want to speculate.
He was gonna not come back this season.
I assume he was coming back too, and I don't want to make any wilds, but it's generally speaking, when you go to counseling, it's for like drugs or alcohol. And I don't think that's his issue, but again, yeah. I don't want to speculate on it, and I hope. I
mean, the Shotgun Willie's owner said he didn't drink there.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Oh, you know about Shotgun Willie's, right? That's on your turf, right?
Yeah, and used to, when I lived up in Denver. Strangely enough, never went there while I lived in Denver. Only went there twice when I didn't live in Denver. One, I think they were both live finals because they're the only place that sell booze until 4 a.m.
And Shotgun Willie's it's a gentleman's club, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's an interesting name for. I mean, okay.
It's not a classy place, I'll tell you that.
Okay. There isn't like a strict dress code at Shotgun Willie's?
Nope. Just come in there in your sweatpants.
Yeah. That's an interesting choice of words. Yeah.
All right.
Probably a
well,
better
that. Good show, Daniel. We're out of here.